taboo.
Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Revenue Hacks in association with Raise Up. I just realized I said good morning. It's afternoon for some of you, most of you, and early morning for some of us as well. So as always, my name is Calvin Tilokee. I am the creator of Revpar and CEO of Revpar Media. We're going to go around the room here and introduce ourselves and our illustrious guests for the day. We'll start with Silvia. Start on my top left.
Hi everybody, this is Silvia Cantarella. I've been working in revenue management for 16 years now and now founder of Revenue Acrobats.
Hey everybody, Khristina. Don't need an introduction. I've been here almost a year, Group Revenue Manager and Ecom Manager for JMK Group, UK and Irish hospitality company.
Hi everyone, good morning from Los Angeles. It is 5 a.m. here. I'm Bianca Braga and I'm with Asksuite and I've been in hospitality for 17 years.
Hi guys, I'm Thibault from London. I'm founder and managing director of Catala Consulting, an outsourced revenue management company based in London. And yeah, happy to be here.
All right. And just so you guys know, backstage, we were discussing the fact that the three ladies on the show today look like the Spice Girls. And we're going to need some help from you guys in the comments. Let us know which Spice Girl they are and who we should be. I'm going for Idris Elba as myself. What are you doing, Thibault?
Bruce Willis or Jason Statham, I guess.
Bruce Willis, Jason, both quality choices. So if you guys agree with those, leave us some comments. Of course, let us know throughout the show. Give us some comments, and we'll see who wins the mug today. Let's see. We'll let Silvia pick today. Who's going to be the winner of the mug?
Okay, cool.
All right. So we're going to get started with our lovely guest today, Bianca from Asksuite Hotel Chatbot. And first, let's just start off with a little bit about you, your background, and how you got into the world of technology.
So I say that I was born and raised in hospitality. I started in reservations, then I went to the front desk. I spent probably most of my years in revenue management, but I also have experience in sales and most recently distribution. I was laid off last year in April. And like many of us, I was jobless for 9 months. Interestingly enough, I had talked to Asksuite before I left my previous company because I was trying to roll out the technology to our hotels. Of course, that didn't happen. But then months later, the CEO of the company saw one of the webinars that I did, and I talked about chatbots and how I believed in it, and he decided to reach out to me, and here I am.
That's fantastic. That's quite a journey. I have a similar one. I started out in reservations as well, but I did flip on front desk to reservations. I kept moving further from operations, and then I spent a lot of time in revenue, which I think was a wise choice. But so tell us a little bit about what is a chatbot. Believe it or not, I put this out on my Instagram page yesterday, and about 86% of people had no idea what a chatbot even is. So let's start there.
Yeah, I had a misconception too. I thought chatbots were just the tool that you have on your website that you can chat live with someone. And that was the experience that I had prior to finding Asksuite, is that I would go on a website for hotels, right? And I would go on a website and try to chat with someone. And the majority of times people would not respond in a timely manner. And I would think to myself, so what is this for? So then I found Asksuite and I found that you have AI-based chatbots, which there are a lot in the market. And those are the ones that I think we were talking about today that use the artificial intelligence to chat with guests and to really improve the response time and do other things too. But I think it's a solution that in the US, there are a lot of companies that use it. Maybe you don't realize you're using a chatbot. With our company, we see a lot of people, through the history of the chats, saying, to the chatbot that they want to meet them when they're at the hotel or asking the chatbot about their families. So people really don't realize they're talking to a robot, which is good because I think it's a reflection of our intelligence and the capability of chatbots. But today, if you have Verizon or if you have AT&T, I don't call them anymore because they would put me on hold for 20, 30 minutes. And now I just use the chatbot to solve all my billing issues, which are a lot.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think we all use those more and more. I think more and more, I guess, depending on what you're trying to do. If I'm calling Verizon, I don't really want to talk to anybody. I want to spend 45 minutes on hold to find out that I can just go somewhere on the website and fix my issue. But in hospitality, it's a bit different. I had an experience last year. I went to Caesar's Palace in Vegas, and I was in the sports book all day watching football. And I didn't need to get up from my seat because they gave you this little card and said, hey, if you want any food, drinks, whatever, text this number. And I didn't move for 6 hours. It was fantastic. So let's open up some questions from our illustrious panel today. I'll go the other direction. We'll go with Thibault, Jason Statham. Do you have any questions for our guest?
Yeah, the setup is here. No, for me, I am not against chatbot. I like chatbot. I think it's a way forward in terms of communication and support. But I also doubt the kind of adoption rate from chatbot. And I was wondering if you have any kind of statistics on the adoption by hotels, like how many hotels are using it and how many clients actually using it. Because for me, I would rather use a chatbot to deal with my issue in-house, as you mentioned, Calvin, with room service, when you kind of service when you are already in the restaurant or at the hotel. But I doubt the conversion from a reservation perspective. While I believe nowadays, I would rather talk to someone at the reservation department to understand more about the restriction, health and safety measures, which are very delicate issues that I want people to solve humanly in a way. So I just doubt if you have any statistic on the adoption rate.
Yes, I have 3 pages of stats here. So I'm serious. They're all here in front of me. But yes, so let's start with how many people use the chatbot. And unfortunately, I can't give you the number of hotels that use chatbots. We have 1,400 clients around the world, and I know some of our competitors. I think we're the biggest in terms of usage, but our competitors have hundreds too. So there are a lot of people already using it. The big chains already use it too. I'm not going to say names, but if you go on some of the big chains websites, they already use chatbots. But for the number of people that use the chatbot while they're on our website, so our numbers are between 20 and 30% of the people that are on the website interact with the chatbot. From those people, 40% ask for quotes. So I think that, through this data, I can actually, coming also from the revenue management background, I want to see the numbers, right? And we can prove that people are actually shopping and quoting through the chatbot. And I think it is because the way that the booking engines work today, it's a little bit backwards. And I know this might sound a little bit provocative, but I truly believe so. You get on the website, and then you go to the booking engine. But if you need more information about the hotel, you come back to the website. There is really an interesting flow that we follow now, and we've been doing the same for a couple of years. And I think that the guests want it differently. What do guests want today? They want to have a Google experience. They want to go on a website and they want to ask questions. They want to just put the question that they have there and get the answer immediately and continue with that flow. So I think that's why the numbers are so high. And I'm not sure if we should get into that already, but the conversion from the people that are on the chatbot and then make a booking is way higher than the conversion that the booking engine has, on its own. I'd say the average today is between 2 and 3%. Would you agree with me for hotels?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
For the booking engine, our conversion in average is 9%, and we have hotels that reach 25% of conversion from the chatbot to the booking engine. So we were talking before we started, it really depends on how the hotel manages the chatbot itself, if they're in parity. So a lot of things that are relevant for hotels to be successful on their direct channel are also relevant for people using the chatbot.
I think it's very, very relevant that you mentioned about, it's also how you use the chatbot. The same with the Revpar system is the way you use it, the way you set it up, and as well as garbage in, garbage out, meaning like the more data you feed the chatbot, the smarter it will become. So yeah, that's very important. But again, all the chatbots are different and they will all react differently, and the guest experience will be differently from one chatbot to another. So yeah.
100%. I just think that what we believe is that if you enhance the guest service experience on the website, you can convert more. Today, there are people trying to book on Instagram, and I know that's something that you share the same opinion with me, that social media now is becoming a way of booking rooms too. So people go on Facebook, they go on Instagram, and sometimes hotels don't respond to those messages, and they might be leaving money on the table because they don't have someone or something there on their behalf responding to guests. And we can talk more about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm passionate about that one. But yes, I was going to throw it to you, Silvia. I see you bouncing in your chair.
Yeah, you know me by now, right? Yeah, linked to what you said, actually, Bianca and Thibault, that was a good conversation. And from what I'm seeing, also an experience with different hotels that are using chatbots right now, is actually, yeah, customers interact a lot with chatbots. They love to chat, and they ask any kind of questions that they might find on the website, but they are just lazy to look and find from these answers. So they prefer just to talk to the chatbot. And the most annoying thing is that waiting for somebody to answer, or having the answer after 10 minutes that you're navigating. So AI is actually solving this issue. And helping conversion. I've seen great conversion increase too with different hotels. So this is the way the market is moving. And I wanted to ask you one question regarding to this, Bianca, because there is one myth also about luxury hospitality. I've been working in luxury hospitality for my whole life. And one myth is that, luxury customers need this personal touch, to have a direct relationship on the phone or talk to the people when they're booking, which from my experience is actually not. And we see from all over across the board that also luxury companies and big chains are now adopting chat and technology. So what's your point on that, luxury and chatbots?
Yes, I have a lot of luxury hotels that ask me the same question. They have a little bit of an aversion with chatbots, but I always say, do you prefer a robot answering your guests, or do you prefer no answer? And sometimes I do this, and it's kind of mean. But before I do a demo, I go on someone's, especially social media, send them a Facebook message, send them an Instagram message, and I see how long it's going to take for them to answer me. And on average, it takes 12 hours. But I've had experiences that people never got back to me at all. So if you get a GM from a luxury hotel and you show them the situation, what would they prefer? Would they prefer a robot that answered immediately? And in case someone is available, a human can interact with them. For luxury hotels, they have a more robust staff. They can definitely do that. Again, to have the robot answer, but then if there's a human available, you can bring the human into the conversation too. Or do they prefer, the questions going to a beautiful, luxurious social media page and nobody ever answering? So I think that's the answer. It's like, if you don't have someone 24/7 to answer your social media posts, I'm sorry, but you're in trouble. And I bet that your clients would prefer to hear back from a robot than to hear no response at all.
Well,
I absolutely love how you say that. Sorry, Calvin, I'm going to jump in, because I actually love that, because I've seen, and through the years, we've all seen automatic posts put in there, and it's, you need to email X, Y, and Z to get an answer. That's not the way we're used to. We've had a year now of instant communication with people, be it Zoom, email, even chatbots. We use chatbots anyways. We spoke about this offline, media, any BT Telecom uses your technology. I did see a mention there of being able to redeploy staff. Again, we've kind of put this to the front over the last few months, and in particular the last year. Technology is great, however, it shouldn't be seen as a way to redeploy staff or even get rid of staff. It should be there to immerse your staff and actually enhance their information, their education, and also their further development in the world. People, and especially in hospitality, they're afraid to embrace all this new technology because they're afraid their job will be gone. That's not always the case, and I think that's something that everyone needs to really take into account. More so, this is only going to enhance your guest journey. It's only going to give you a better leg up on the competition. And it's the way the world is moving, is in this fast-paced technology. And as Bianca and Thibault both said, it's about what you put into it. You need staff to put in the right information. You can't just expect this AI, as amazing as artificial intelligence is, to pick up everything right away. It's like an RMS. PMS, it's only as good as the information you put in.
Absolutely.
Run over. Sorry, Calvin.
No, I was just going to actually tell a quick comment about the lack of response on the luxury side. I worked at a hotel that claimed to be luxury. We wouldn't even answer the phone.
Wow.
Okay, so much less social media. Yeah, we had an issue at one point where people were calling for 40 minutes straight and couldn't get someone to pick up the phone. So if there are people out there who are saying that a chatbot couldn't help, or forget social media, let's just start with the phone.
Same here.
Yeah, it happens. So I certainly don't think that argument lends a lot of credence all the time. In a lot of cases, we're dropping the ball on a lot more basic things than, answering a social media DM.
Yeah. And about the social media still, it's interesting because luxury hotels usually have a marketing agency taking care of their social media, right? So the marketing agency sometimes is responsible for answering these questions. But I mean, let's be honest, a marketing agency works business hours and they get back to you probably the following day or in a week or never. So it's a big problem. It's and sometimes people don't know. They really don't know if the GMs, they have no idea this problem is happening at their property. I invite you, if you're a GM or if you're a director of sales and marketing and you're watching this, test your hotel, not to get anybody in trouble, but to really try to find a solution for it.
Great point. We have a great question here coming in on the chat. Chatbots have been designed to handle first-level questions. How can they handle complex issues?
And I will even add something here, the French sarcasm. The sarcasm? We do a lot of things like sarcasm. I'm quite sure like AI and chatbot cannot get this kind of thing.
I think we got that over here too.
Abe, hi, how's it going? I used to work with Abe at my previous company, and it's a great question.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We all know each other. It's so scary. So more complex questions. Yes, the chatbot can handle a lot of simple questions. What I say is that the more data that you give the chatbot, the smarter it gets. It becomes more intuitive. So the company that I work for has existed for 3 years. We exchanged more than 230 million messages with guests. And the robot continues to learn. So the more data you have into the chatbot, the better it gets into answering complex questions. One thing that's interesting too, and I'm sure it's true with our competitors, the robot is not something that you set and forget. It continues to learn as it goes. You can continue to teach the robot as time goes by. We have a natural language developer at our company, and he continues to monitor if the robot is answering questions properly. So that's something, again, the robot continues to improve and get better. And that's why it's so important for hospitality to look for chatbots that are specific to hospitality, because if you get a generic chatbot, the chances that it doesn't understand specific hotel questions are greater. So if you're looking for a chatbot, definitely check someone that has the hospitality background and only does chatbots for hotels. That's my recommendation if someone is looking for that technology.
I think it's really interesting is we're getting a lot of questions in regards to integration, which is something we have really harped on about over the last year. Bianca, can you tell us if the chatbot can integrate with a PMS, first of all, if newer technology is great, and also what happens for hotels that don't have a booking engine? Now, I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to get slapped on the wrist, I'm sure, for this, but if you are an independent hotel or any hotel and you don't have a booking engine or a website, please just go and do it. For the love of God, today, go look at someone, because that is one way of cutting down your commissions, is having a direct link to you, almost like God. You can do cheaper pricing. There's so many different benefits. Check out our few episodes ago when we done it. But Bianca, integrations, please.
Before that, I second what you said. Please get a booking engine. It's really important. And there are all types of vendors out there. Yes, integration. I saw it was actually a question from a Bianca too. I saw Bianca popped up. I'm like, how am I down there? It was another Bianca. Hi, Bianca. Or I think it was Zana maybe, but two people asked about integrations, and it's true. That's one thing that we focus a lot on, because we understand the challenges in hospitality, that we have all the silos, all the systems that don't connect with each other. So again, and I know I'm speaking for my company and other companies out there too. we integrate with your PMS, we integrate with your booking engine, we integrate with your CRM. So we have a way to capture leads through the chatbot for groups, for events, for restaurants, and all that information goes straight into your CRM. We can confirm reservations if you have if you have a PMS that integrates with us. We can send them confirmation. We can do upselling. So integrations is a big part of what we do. Because we understand the pain, and we don't want to be one more platform that you have to copy and paste data from, or you have to kind of, build a bridge somehow to make it work. So yes, we have integration with a lot of systems.
Here, this is for you guys. Because there's not many people who can tell us that they do have integration. Oh, Thibault's going to break it, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I had a question actually. But what I like with Chatbot, and you mentioned about integration and data, I love this kind of data hub to understand more about customer behavior and their preferences. And I believe it can create a smarter booking experience with more personalized recommendation. And for me, that's kind of my dream and vision when it comes to revenue management, to have like a personalized pricing and personalized offers. And Chatbot can be the first way to get into this kind of thing. Do you think Chatbot can have a different personalization depending on who is looking at and who is interacting with the chatbot? For example, if I talk to your chatbot for the hotel A, and Silvia does as well talk to the chatbot at the same time, are we going to have different recommendations based on on the historical data or anything else? Is it like very personalized, or it will be like a generic answer?
I'd say we'll get there. It's moving towards that direction. I saw someone also asked about how the booking flows. What we do now is we offer you pricing within the chatbot, and then you move to the booking engine, because we know how much time the booking engine, providers out there spend on making it user-friendly, enhancing the experience. So we don't want to take that away from the experience of the booking engine. And with that said, whatever the booking engines are going to start doing in the future, the chatbot can follow in terms of, customizing the experience. And I see AI becoming more kind of targeted in the sense of, if you're talking to someone and they immediately ask for kids, do kids pay, which is a question that a lot of hotels get, do kids pay? Maybe start offering the packages that you have set up for kids and things like that. I think we're very close because, as you said, we have the data. But I do think that for now, because we rely on the booking engine experience so much, it also has to do with where are they going and where are they taking that experience for the guests. Does that answer your question?
It does. And I think that's kind of the first step towards this personalized pricing. But we're getting there.
Okay.
I have another question. Can I?
Yeah, I was just going to throw it to you. I knew you were ready. I could feel it.
I'm moving, yeah. So Bianca, we can collect a lot of information through chatbots about the conversations that are ongoing with the chats, what the customers are asking for. So how can we, from a revenue management standpoint, leverage all those kind of information to become more strategic? Do you have any examples of how revenue managers now are using the information on the background to make strategic decisions based on the interactions that the chat has, that the guests have with the chatbot?
Yep, I think it's, again, I see a shift and a little bit of a transformation in our industry of revenue managers becoming more involved with digital marketing, director of sales becoming more interested in revenue management. So I think there's kind of a mix of roles there. And I see more and more, and especially because sometimes I go to a hotel and I'm like, who do I speak to, right? And a lot of times it's instead of being the director of marketing or the director of operations that benefit tremendously from the use of chatbot, it's actually the director of revenue management, because you have the history of your chats there. You can go back and see what people are looking for. We have a ton of statistics about time people are interacting with the chatbot, what they're asking for, if groups, if packages, if events. So you can use a lot of that data to make decisions. The chatbot doesn't integrate with the RMS system. And again, that's why we always need a human at the hotel to look into that data and then to make accurate decisions. Because if you see that your chat volume is increasing for a certain period of time or during a certain period of time of the day, of the month, you can kind of leverage, what's going on. For example, in January, we saw 1.4 million chats within our solution, which was record for us. We've never seen so many chats, and the number of hotels didn't increase to the same level. So it was not because we brought a ton of hotels in January. It was really because people are using it more, and we saw an uptick in quotes as well. So we can tell, and again, this is for all of our hotels, but if you're sitting on a property, you can see that this month people are asking for quotes. This is when they're asking for, during the specific time of the day. You can use a lot of that data to make decisions and to set your strategy. And that's one thing too, and I'm sorry, I kind of stopped and then I picked back on, but that's one thing too that I think it's interesting. If you don't have a chatbot in your site, you're going to look into Google Analytics, you're going to look at your marketing agency reports at the end of the month, but you never really have a chance to interact with guests while they're browsing on your website. Mm-hmm. As I said before, and I don't know if it was clear, but we allow our clients to go and intervene in the conversation if they want to. So again, it's one chance that you have to pick someone that's already on your website, browsing through the information, go there and have the human interaction, which is something that we could never do. Again, you can see at Google at the end of the month that you had the majority of your guests were coming from New York, California, but you never really have those specifics and the chance to talk to the person live while they're looking for your hotel, which I think it's pretty interesting.
I just want to say, first of all, we've got a question from Jerome, and I want to get to it because I just think it's a really interesting question. But I just want to remind everyone the chat is there. Pop in your questions, but please remember we are a non-advertising platform. We're here to share our knowledge, and we don't actually recommend or push products right on top of our clients and our people that are watching. So thanks to everyone that's putting questions in there, but just keep that in mind. How do you measure performance of chatbots on conversion and further evaluate the return on investment? I knew someone was going to ask this question today. I'm still so focused on the return on investment. But how do you evaluate it when it comes to actually driving bookings? Because at the end of the day, if we're trying to get owners to invest into this technology, how can we track it to make sure that it's working?
So we track it with the amount of reservations in our case, right? We track through your booking engine the amount of reservations that are started on the chatbot. So we can tell you very easily at the end of the month, you made this many reservations that started on the chatbot, and this is how much you're paying per month. We see a 20-to-1 return on investment for our hotels, because one misconception that I feel a lot of people have, and again, I'm speaking for my company and for other companies too, because I know their pricing, they think this is a very expensive technology, and it's not the case. And I think sometimes people are not curious to investigate and to talk to vendors about it to get an idea. Again, this is one of the technologies that are out there that are not super expensive, and you get a very good return on investment, and it's measurable, it's trackable. Again, I'm speaking for me and for my competitors. We can tell you right away if it's working for you or not, and you're going to know the numbers at the end of the month.
All right, so we've got a great question coming in from Giannis. Are the hotel chatbots accurate enough to not damage the brand's image by not understanding the questions or giving quote unquote silly answers? Because I've been experiencing chatbots that seem useless in some websites. Me too.
It's funny. The other day I was talking to a client, and they said the chatbots start spitting out inappropriate answers. And I really tried to get the name of the company. I'm like, but what were they saying? And they were laughing. So I was curious about what was going on there. Yeah.
Somebody hacked it. I feel like somebody on the back end was just kind of messing around. That sounds like something people like me may do sometimes.
I agree. I was so curious. I'm like, oh my gosh, who did that? But so Yanis, the way it works is that, and our numbers are less than 2% of people actually ask for human interaction, meaning that the robot is able to solve 98% of questions. With that said, it's not perfect. And as I said earlier, it continues to learn. So the way we work is that if you ask the robot a question 3 times and it doesn't know the answer, because it keeps asking you throughout the conversation, did I answer your question properly? Are you satisfied with the answer? And if you say no 3 times, then it's going to send you to a human, because we don't want you to be frustrated and to continue to ask questions and the robot doesn't know the answer. And at the end of the month, what we do, we collect those questions that were not answered properly, and we reach out to the hotel and say, hey, you should teach the robot these new answers because it doesn't know, what to answer properly. So you should teach that. And to your point, Khristina, you were saying earlier, and Thibault as well, what you enter, the way you set up the robot is so important. And some people don't want to spend time doing that. And sometimes you open a restaurant or you open a bar and you food and beverage outlet on property and you don't feed the robot with that information. So people are going to be frustrated because they're going to be asking, they know there is a new restaurant there. People are going to be asking, and you know, the robot doesn't know the answer because you didn't teach it. So it's definitely something that need human maintenance in that sense. You know, it's a never going learning platform.
Are you seeing any? Sorry.
Go ahead. No, is there any minimum time that needs to be done for the setup? Like after, let's say, like 30 days, 3 months, we can have a correct chatbot? Or is it from day one that we know that the chatbot will be accurate?
It's from day one. It's a very quick implementation timeline. We are changing the way we do the implementation, but it's really quick. But I always say that is the most important time for you to set up the chatbot properly, because then it's only maintenance. If you do it right from the start, then you can only adjust it accordingly with things that you add, you remove, or things that change. For example, in 2020 and still now, unfortunately, we have a lot of hotels using the chatbot to display COVID information. So instead of getting a call at the hotel, hey, what are you doing? Is mask mandatory throughout the hotel? Do you allow people to be at the pool? How many people can be at the gym? How many calls are hotels getting, right, about that? So we use the chatbot to display information about that there. But hopefully in a couple of months, that's going to be changed. So hotels will have to go there and then remove that information. So the implementation is quick, but the hotel needs to put time into really setting it up properly. And then it's just a maintenance thing.
What I was going to ask before is, are you seeing any consistency between the questions that the robot isn't able to answer throughout the different properties, or is it property specific based on how they set up?
It's more property specific, I'd say. It's something that the property didn't set up correctly or didn't spend too much time on, and you see that the robot doesn't get it.
Got it. Okay. We have a great question coming in here. I'm sorry, Khristina, did you have something else on that?
No, it's okay. I was going to read the question.
You know, go ahead.
Calvin,
go ahead.
Gets the question.
I'll let you do the honors. Go for it.
Okay, so Anna's actually asked a really, really good question. How is the data being collected? I can't imagine a revenue manager or a salesperson going into chat and reading all of them. So, and how about the follow-up process with guest satisfaction measurements? So there's two questions in that.
Yes, yeah, I'm reading here too, just to make sure that I answer both. So data being collected. So if there are different ways. If you're on the website or on mobile, we have the history of the chat, but if you didn't leave any of your information, that's fine. You know, it's okay. We just have the data there. If you left information, then it's going to migrate into your CRM, and it's also going to live within the history of the chatbot. And yes, I don't see the director of revenue going there and reading every chat that happened the past week, but we have ways within our own dashboard for you to see the most relevant information without giving too much away on our platform. But you can track information pertaining to whatever data you want to see. So I'll leave it at that, and let me know, I think it was Anna, if that clarifies your question. Another way is that if you're chatting with someone on Facebook or on WhatsApp, which I don't know where you are in the world if WhatsApp is relevant, Europe, South America, and Asia, some countries in Asia, WhatsApp is very relevant, and people really use WhatsApp to shop, to communicate, to book hotels. So on those platforms, if you are chatting with someone, the data is going to be there forever. It's like having a conversation on your Facebook Messenger and then going back to it and picking back up. So if you talk to a guest, again, via Facebook Messenger, via WhatsApp, the data is there forever. And a lot of hotels are taking advantage of it, because once you are on those platforms, you can actually keep the conversation going. You can hit them up with, a personalized marketing message later, or even just a message later. So the data is there forever. So I think that kind of answers the data part of the question. Let me see the other one. Follow-up process and guest satisfaction measurement. So the chatbot that we do, you continue to ask throughout the conversation if the chatbot is doing a good job. So I think that's a way that we have to know if we are answering your questions properly or not. And some chatbots, we don't do it, but some chatbots do. They do it automatically. You check out, they send a survey message to you via SMS, via other platforms. So you can do that too in terms of satisfaction with the hotel, if that's what you're asking. Do you think I answered her questions? Because there were two and I started babbling, and I don't know.
No, I believe you did.
I'm actually really excited about the fact that you use the word dashboard. That just always instills some sort of confidence into a revenue manager when you know that there's a dashboard and you're able to go look at for sure and pull the information from. Like,
Yeah,
amazing.
love it.
I love this comment. Claudia's, I can't even read it out, so I'm not even going to say it, but Claudia's comment is brilliant. And it is very true. You only get back what you put into a tool. And if people just cannot, sometimes it is user error rather than tech error. We had this conversation offline before we kept on.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I'm old enough to remember the original computers with the floppy disk, and the saying was always garbage in, garbage out. The computer's only going to give you what you put into it. I don't think that's changed much.
And at the end of the day, we still need to have a job. I want to have a job, so we need humans. It's not, we're not going to let the robots do everything. We need humans to kind of teach it and to set it up properly. But yeah, I see sometimes hotels missing out on opportunities because they didn't do their job correctly, and it's a shame.
I think it goes back to what we were mentioning even last week about leveraging technology as a digital extension of the team, not to replace any team member. And I think that's super duper important nowadays, because people will say, okay, the chatbot is great, now I can get rid of my reservation team. No, it's not true. You just need to leverage a chatbot to help and support your team to provide a better guest experience. I think that's very important to mention.
I mean, here we are, where, there are a lot of revenue people here. Did we lose our jobs because the RMS systems are now in every hotel? No, they still need us. It's a big misconception, unfortunately.
It's a different vision, different perspective as we move from tactics to strategy. And I think it's the same on the guest experience and on the communication via the chatbot. So chatbot leverage the tactics, and then reservation team can leverage more the strategy or the talk to the guest experience.
Of course. And to that point, and I'm sorry if someone had a question, I'll go real quick. If you think about the costs of, for example, call centers, how much do you pay call centers to? You pay the call, you pay the minutes, at least that's how it works most part here in the US. And how many of these calls are probably people asking, what is included on your resort fee? Do you accept dogs? How much do kids pay? So you're going to continue to pay your call center to answer those questions? Or are you going to continue to pay your call center to solve, complex reservation questions? Like, I have a family of 5 and we need to be in adjoining rooms and we need an extra bed and we also have a dog. This is what you want your team to be dealing with. You want them to be dealing with, planning honeymoons and planning people's, proposal and things like that. You don't want your team to be answering this day, just, questions that they get all day long, and it's taking their time away from actually making a connection and making guests, experience better. And I work in reservations, I work at the front desk, and the information is all on your website. People are just lazy to look for it. It's all there, but they still call you to ask about the same information over and over again.
Exactly. It's all about what you said also. Sorry, Khristina. Also last time, actually, technology is helping us to get rid of these transactional activities so we can go back to really offer personalized experiences, our personal touch to our guests. That's what really can make a difference once they call us or they write us and to convert.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And Anna has also asked a question in regards to security, compliance, and GDPR. And I think what's really interesting is having chatbots and having, all this amazing technology that integrates correctly into your system only reduces the risk of being non-GDPR compliant once you do a proper GDPR cert and risk assessment on each technology before you integrate. You are the data controller in this case. The likes of Asksuite or whatever other technology is actually only feeding the information to you. So you are the data retainer and data controller. Therefore, it's up to you to keep this data in a secure environment. And that's what I love about all this, is that the more technology comes together, the stronger the hotel's compliance is. So you're not going to be facing data leaks or anything unless you get hacked. And then that's on you for not having your Wi-Fi sorted.
Exactly. And one thing that we do, and I think more companies are doing that too, is that when you start interacting with us, the majority of our hotels, some choose to do it, which I discourage hotels to do, but you have the chatbot on the corner of your website, and then you go start interacting with it. We did a lot of research in the beginning of Asksuite, and we noticed that if you ask for an email, 77% of people drop. I'm one of the 77%. I just want to ask a question, for God's sake. I don't want you to have my email right away. So that's a practice that no matter which company you choose, I discourage you from doing. The majority of the properties that work with us do not do that. We just ask for information if people want a quote, they want a group, an event, or something like that. But it's really annoying if you go on a chatbot and you have a question and you have to put your information on. So yeah, that's a practice that we don't recommend, and the majority of hotels don't do. Thank God.
So we got a great question here from Clara. Does the hotel staff adapt and adjust their chatbot with up-to-date information directly themselves, or do they have to go through the chatbot company every time? If they worked at my hotel, I'm constantly increasing my resort fee. So would that be something we would have to go to you for, or can we do that ourselves?
You can do that yourself. The dashboard, that magic word, you can do everything on the dashboard. You can teach there is literally something called Teach the Robot that you can put all this information.
Love it.
Dashboard.
Yes.
Look at that smile on Christina's face. She loves it.
I know. It's just there. Every PMS should have that. They should have a dashboard. And it's only now legacy systems are kind of copping on and realizing we need to have a dashboard. I had a demo last week with a legacy system, and I was like, seriously? Like, their cloud tool, I was like, really? This is just your PMS in different colors. That's all it is with a dashboard. I was like, really? You can't call it groundbreaking technology.
Because they know that we like Excel spreadsheets. I'm joking.
Do you know what? I love Excel, right? But I have a master of Excel who sits in my house. I'm not going to call him the husband, but you know what I mean? He actually is amazing. So I just need to give him everything and then let him figure it out for me. So it's great. Working from home has its benefits, for sure. I just want to ask a question because, again, 9 times out of 10, people don't actually realize this. But, chatbots do actually cut down on the amount of time we have to pretty much go back and immerse ourselves into FAQs and try and copy and paste. Bianca, is there a quick fix for hotels right now that they can actually turn back time and warp speed forward into the chatbot world? What would you recommend to them to start doing today if they were going to consider buying a chatbot?
And can you repeat this question again? Let me make sure I understand.
So give, in a nutshell, quickly, because we're almost out of time, give people the benefits of getting a chatbot right now and what they should do, A, to prepare for it, and B, what should they do? Should they have a certain expectation laid out already when they're talking to someone like you, or should they just, because again, it's very unknown technology for a lot of people right now.
Yeah, I think every hotel is a good fit for a chatbot. However, as I said in the beginning, if you don't practice the good practices at your hotel, like having rate parity, maybe even offering a better rate on your booking engine than on third parties, I would say work on that first and then come talk to us because there are a lot of practices that hotels should be doing before thinking about new technology. And I think rate parity is one. So that's one. I think if you are really struggling with the amount of staff that you have at your hotel now because you're closed or because you were you don't know if you're going to be able to bring the same staffing levels as you had before, I think you're definitely a great candidate to use a chatbot in the meantime or forever to help your staff whenever they are back at the hotel. I think if you are looking into increasing your direct bookings on your website, absolutely, because it's something, as I mentioned, we are able to do and we have the numbers to prove it. And you can show at the end of the month the ROI to your investors, to your owners, to your general manager, because there is a way for us to track revenue. So I think those were the ones that I would say, again, if you are interested, look into those things and and come talk to one of us.
All right, so Bianca, So we're wrapping up here in a couple of minutes, but I did want to make sure we got this question in to give some encouragement to ourselves and a lot of our audience. As you mentioned at the top, you have gone from hotels, revenue management into the technology space. In between, there was a furlough for you, as I'm sure a lot of us have dealt with. What advice or encouragement would you give for people who have been in that situation and maybe continue to be in that situation?
Keep your eye on the prize. Don't be discouraged. I know there are days that, as I said on another webinar that I did and Calvin watched, don't eat ice cream for breakfast every day. Just, keep going, have faith, and make sure that you become a better version of yourself. If you have this downtime, invest on yourself. Work on your skills, because it's going to be a different industry when you find a job. It's going to be a lot more demanding. But again, you have this time to really learn. There are so many videos, so many things that you could be watching on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is your best friend. This is how I found my job. This is how I stay connected with a lot of people. That's how I'm here right now talking to you, because I really took time to increase my network and to build relationships during the downtime last year. But I think I'm a happy ending, and I hope you have a happy ending too if you are not employed right now.
That's fantastic. Couldn't have said it better. Silvia, who is winning our mug today?
Ooh, hard to say. There's one Khristina which is commenting all the time, but she cannot win the mug. So I will pick. I hope I pronounce it right. Anna Sirba.
Yeah.
You are the lucky winner. You're super lucky. Congratulations. Thanks for commenting.
Yes. Great comments and feedback today.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Great to talk to you and kind of break some of the myths about chatbots. And I hope that Thibault has a different view now of chatbots than the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, you should try one, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully next time I do the poll on Instagram, we'll track down that 88%, I think a safe number. Let's get it below 80 and then work from there.
Yes.
All right, Khristina, want to wrap it up?
Oh yeah, okay, cool. So thank you so much for today, Bianca. It's been super. Again, it's just been it's a world of amazing information and technology. And I think the one thing hospitality needs to realize is we need to adapt now. We need to adapt quickly. If we can go out and buy the latest phone, why can't we do it for our systems? Simple as. That's just it. Don't forget to watch us next week. We actually have a super episode next week. We actually have a huge number of audience participation coming into us, because we're going to be talking about the Great Staycation. We are going to be kicking off March. March is going to be called Marketing for Dummies. And wow, do we have a great month for you guys coming up. So don't forget to tune in next week, same time, same bat channel. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in today. On behalf of Revenue Hacks and Raise Up, which is formerly WHTT, we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
My world will never ever leave you in doubt. I don't see what all the fuss is about. I didn't know I had to watch my tongue. Now you know that I'm a lonely guy. Yeah, you know it's true. I'm too taboo.